What is going on, everybody? My name is Nick, and I want to welcome you back for another one of my album reviews. Today, of course, is Twice and their second ever album called Page 2. Naturally, it would be Page 2, I suppose. So, let's talk about this album. That's kind of just what these reviews are. Just me talking about what I think about it. So, first off, just overall, generally speaking, as far as Twice in their career, their second album is an improvement from their first. For me personally, I think their debut was kind of rough around their edges. That there was definitely a really a good album in there, but they could have worked on it a little bit more, polished out some of the rough spots in there, and you would have ended up with a much better product. Of course, their promo song I thought was pretty rough, and then their album tracks were worse than that, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. If you liked it, you liked it. That's cool. This one though has been probably kind of like the example here of what kind of work or effort should have been really put into their debut album, where this one is polished off to perfection. It looks good, it sounds nice. There aren't really anything that really stands out as particularly super off about any of the songs in this. Everything is put together and constructed really, really well, in my opinion. Everything, it's all tight, it's all really, really, really great. And the one thing that I kind of think with their debut album is as far as how the use of the members in the songs for the vocals and stuff like that, maybe they didn't have particularly the best idea of what they can do. I don't know. I'm just talking off the top of my head. I have no idea what I'm even saying, but it kind of felt sometimes that they were trying to ask them to do too much, or they just weren't ready for what was being asked of them. But this one though is they got it all figured out. It's all good. There's nothing wow, your vocals could be better with this. Your performance there could be better, but this one is good without a doubt. It's all done really, really well. Overall too, again, just kind of I think what fits with what Twice, the image that Twice is going with right now, is this album is a lot of fun. Like I said, clearly that's what the group is all about right now, just being a super fun group. And this album, just to exemplify that, doesn't have a ballad song in it specifically. You got some songs that lean more towards the a vocal based, or where the balance is more emphasized on having sung vocals versus pop music and stuff like that. But overall you don't have a ballad song, which is a bit abnormal for a lot of groups, or for a lot of K-pop group albums, because you do have a lot of time, or most of the time, you do finish off the album with some sort of ballad kind of song, and it's interesting and nice, and kind of just kind of generally shows that that Twice is trying to be a fun pop group, and that's all they're trying to be. They're not trying to be anything more than that, and they do a really good job with this album, and that's great. My favorite song on this album, just because of how much fun it is Touchdown. It just is. I mean, it's fun. I don't know really what else to say about that. It's probably the most fun I've had listening to an album track in a long time. I think maybe a long time, maybe since Rainbow and their newest album, Prism, and their promotion song for that. Maybe that was the last time I had this much fun listening to a song, because that was pretty fun too. But Touchdown is pretty awesome. I like it a decent amount. It's a fun song. That's really all I can say about it though. It's fun, and also the epitome, the best example in this album I think of the style that this group is going to, with some different variations and stuff like that. So overall, my I guess my rating for the album is kind of would I buy this album or would I not? And for me personally, I'm not gonna buy this album. I don't have any interest in it. Twice is cool, they're fun, but at the end of the day, the overall album for me is kind of just a generic girl group. Granted, they're doing it really, really well. They're putting out some music that I definitely can't say is bad, so that's good. I wouldn't expect anything less from JYP though, so that's it. For Twice being a group that's super, super hyped and is at the top of the game at this point in time, or near that point, it's really kind of not disappointing, or it's kind of a letdown, I guess you can say, when they come out with a song like this, which is like, you got some pretty typical standard girl group visuals there. The song might be a little bit different from what you normally hear, but generally speaking, it's got the same sort of foundation and bass and sound, so they're not really doing anything super crazy interesting over there. Just overall, Twice is putting out like more of the same, but they're doing a good job with it, and I have to give them, credit where credit is due in that regard. So, that's great. So like I said, overall, I'm not really a particular fan of this album or the group at this point in time, but I definitely do see that this group has, or can envision, of course, just because that's what K-pop groups do, is they evolve as time goes on through their career to become something completely different than what they were at their debut. So, I'm definitely still interested in following Twice, and I will be keeping an eye on them closely, because why wouldn't I want to be watching one of the most popular girl groups in K-pop at the moment, to see what they come out with as time goes on. I'm really, really eager and interested to see what it is. And I definitely do expect and, anticipate that there will be something in the very near future that I can actually really get behind. And that will be the moment that I become a fan of Twice. Unfortunately, though, it is not today. It is not with this album. That's just it. My personal opinion. My personal taste for this, it's not really my thing. Even though I had fun, like I'm not gonna say that if it comes up on like the radio or randomly, then I'm gonna be like, ew, Twice. But I'm not. It's not particularly gonna be something that I choose to listen to frequently. Just my thing. So that's what I think about this album. I'm gonna know what you thought down in the comment box below, or on social media. I've got Twitter and Facebook plus more. Those links to all of my profiles in the description box below. So that is going to be it for this video. As always, I'm going to thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye. I'm listening to it, my brain, I'm like, that didn't feel right. Like that's just what I feel. And again, that's just me. I don't have any, composition background or anything like that. I don't have any of that music knowledge, so I don't really know any sort of the details, and I can't explain it. All I know is it just doesn't 100% feel right. I like it.